And it's like,
Yeah.
I have worked very hard to make everything I do like inclusive and accessible, and I will continue to do that. And like every time I see something that I'm like, oh, that could be better, like I will make, like I'll put that work in to make it better. Like it might take me some time because of my own disabilities, but like I have that approach. And it's like when I'm then talking to a company that has like, you know, whatever, like 10 employees, let's say, not even like a huge company, but like, you know, 10 employees or what have you, they make enough money to pay all of those people a wage. And I'm just like, they turn around to me and say, oh no, we can't implement this like one small thing because we're a small company. And I'm like, I'm self-employed. I do everything for my own company. And I'm like, I'm like, sometimes I'm like this close to being like, would you like me to send you my contract that I have with clients so you can see like how I do accessibility? Because like, I'll be honest, I'm doing it better than you. Like with most like these companies.
Honestly, I'm not sure that would. I don't know. I don't pick up on social cues always. So like a part of me is like, that's a good idea.
See, right?
Yeah, I'd go.
I'd
that's
suggest a good idea.
Saying back to them. Saying back to them. Okay, I see where this is going. Let me ask you, would you like to hire me as an accessibility expert?
Oh my God, I've done that. Like
That's the conversation we need to be having.
I'm not like an accessibility consultant, and I would never like claim to be, because there are people who do it like a bajillion times better than me out there. But like I offer peer chats, for example, which the intention of that is basically, if you would like me to spend emotional labor explaining things about my identity to you, you can pay me for that. Like basically, because people will come to me and be like, oh, can you just explain what non-binary means? And I'm like, yeah, you can pay me for that, or you can go and find because like, quite frankly, I have explained it. If you care to look through my social media, like you will find that information. Like, so yeah, I have it for that. And then I also have it from the point of view of like, if somebody just wants like somebody to chat to, like that is like, you know, somebody that they understand, so like a queer neurodivergent person, that they just kind of need like a, you know, somebody to like talk about things that just isn't as scary or like as expensive as like a therapist or what have you. And again, like I do it on like a tier basis. But so I have this information on my website, but then on that page as well, I say like, if you're a company and you're interested in talking to me about these things that I have listed that I can talk to you about, of like, you know, neurodivergency, queerness, like these sorts of things, contact me, and like we can come up with a system for that. And like, you know, I find I'm very out of the box with my thinking, which I think a lot of neurodivergent people find that as well. So like I will kind of look at something and be like, well, what about this? Like, and it'll be something that they just haven't thought about. So yeah, when I like email a company sometimes to kind of be like, oh, hey, did you know that this thing that you're doing is ableist, or that this thing that you're doing is like, you know, actually a microaggression of like, you know, queerphobia or something. Like I will be like, and also if, you know, and I'll be like, I'll put the emotional labor in. Sometimes I will spend like hours like writing emails and stuff, because I'm like, I want to help make things better. And I'm like, that's something that I can do. And then I'm like, if you would like more, like, you know, let me know. We can like talk about what the options is. Yeah, people don't like that. They don't like that.
That's
and I'm like, but I'm trying to give you useful information. Like
that's just, it's clearly with a lot of companies, it's not, it's so far down in terms of their priority that they probably consider being accessible a fucking luxury.
Oh, it's an add-on. Like, it's considered an add-on. And I'm just like, you're doing it wrong. Like,
yeah,
if you build it from, like, with it built in, it, like, yeah, it's like, you don't build a build. Well, I say this, you shouldn't do this. People obviously do this. You don't build a building and then go, let's add a ramp. Like, no, design it with the goddamn ramp, design it with the accessible toilet and gender neutral, design it with the correct access to all of the floors. Don't lock the goddamn lift. Like,
and also don't, if there's an event in the building, don't open up, and especially if it relates to wheelchair and disability stuff, don't limit the number of bathrooms open, because there's oftentimes fewer disability-related bathrooms, so you should make sure all those bathrooms are open. Yes, I'm referring something I talked about, but still.
Like, no, absolutely. But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, let's have like, let's have, binary gender toilets and then one disabled toilet. And it's like, how have you got it so incredibly wrong?
Yeah.
Like, just
look.
How?
You can look. They'll have a gender neutral toilet. There's one on the third floor. Yeah, in this weird like roundabout way.
For the lift if you want to get like like it's ridiculous. Like,
one in this 30-story building. There's one gender neutral bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, and like the caretaker is on their smoke break, so like you're just gonna have to wait 10 minutes. It's ridiculous, and it's like that's easy to talk about and see because it's like a physical things with like toilets and ramps and things like that. But then that comes in for accessibility for neurodivergency and like mental health and stuff as well. Like like don't make it a requirement, like even just on Zoom, like since we've been on Zoom for stuff, right? Like I basically shifted all of my lessons onto Zoom overnight, like when back at the beginning of 2020, and it was a big learning curve for me and what have you. But like all the schools did that as well, and the amount of people I see that are like, our school is like requiring all the kids to have their cameras on. No, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. And like I'm even bad at eye contact. I'm sure they also fucking do eye contact.
Oh yeah, like, all of these things, well. And it's like, but it's like they'll like argue it, be like, oh, it's like a safeguarding thing. It's a this, it's a that. It's like, not like you like they're so like narrow-minded with what they see. It's like you have to do this, this, and this, and it's like, why do you have to do this and this? Oh, because that's the way it's always been done. And I'm like, that's a problematic sentence. That should not be the answer. Try again.
Try again.
Incorrect.
You answered wrong. We're being nice about it. We're giving you another try. Give a different answer. You can do better.
Yeah, and it's like, because there are so many, like there is, when you start kind of looking into it, it's like, there is a lot of things to consider for accessibility, and like people get annoyed because it's like to go back to the sort of like a building thing. It's like we put a ramp out the front. Is that not enough? And it's like, no, like it's the same. It's like, oh well we let our students not have their cameras on. Is that not enough? It's like, no, everything. Like you need to inspect everything. Like why are you doing things that way? Because also like people, like neurodivergent people, like I find it, and most of the neurodivergent people that I've spoken to, we find it harder to advocate for ourselves because of trauma and like gaslighting and like RSD and like all of these things. It's harder for us to speak up and say, I need this for accessibility.
It's a social thing to begin with. I mean, it's a social thing that then you're saying, if I have a social disability.
Yeah.
And
like,
then you're telling me that I can fix that if I just do social things. If I
just tell you it, like if I just talk to you, that thing that I struggle with, cool, excellent, yeah, let me do that. Like that whole thing of like, if you need accessibility, just ask, and it's like, and like,
I'm not sure you understand how this works.
Like, are you not aware of what might like? Then they're not like.
Well, I'm sure they learned everything you need to know about autism from Autism Speaks. I'm sure.
No,